representation. That means if carrier allows you, you can send your number as a private number over ISDN, and then just enable the system wide with call identification restriction, allowed or not allowed. Or you can, for example, add a prefix or remove a prefix from your system. Also, you can edit your incoming caller ID and enable adding digit 9, adding digit 00 or whatever. Advice of charge is mainly used for billing units. Normally, billing happening over the duration. In the SWR record, you will receive calling station number, call this number for 1 minute 10 seconds. But this 1 minute 10 seconds is since call start ringing. If I call for very expensive or expensive destination, it will cost me maybe around 30 second cost, which is really expensive. So ISDN people come with the advice of charge unit. In your assembly record, you receive identifier called AOC, advice of charge, and it will say each 10 seconds considered as a single unit, or each 60 seconds, which is a single unit, is 1 unit. And here you will receive advice from the carrier how many units you would like to charge your customer. For example, this is 1 minute and 10 seconds. The advice of charge from the carrier, if the carrier unit is 10, seconds, you will receive 70 units. That means you will charge exactly the exact amount. But if your carrier unit is 60 seconds, that means 1 minute, the charge advice will be 2 units. So normally the carrier advice is for 10 seconds. Each 10 seconds is a unit. And based on that, you will receive exactly since the call started. It's an important subject for the hospitality guys, or the people who really charge the people for the calls. This is advice of charge overview. And this also can be implemented over a tandem network. Like if I have a SDN here, and I have connected via QSIG with other vendor or with an NEC system, and with CCIS. I can bypass my my advanced of charge all over the 3 networks. And this is how to enable advanced of charge. You will see a handout called the ISDN supplemental feature. Okay? You can find a summary how to program all of this with a good example. Don't feel bad, but this will not the example. Core retention is an interesting feature for the people who have a pure IP environment. That means I have a media converter for ISDN, and I have only IP phones. I don't have a BIR. What if my 95 goes down? Like what happened? What if my network not allowing me to touch 95, my switch down? I have IP phone here. It's connected to the MGBRI. What would be the call behavior? The default call behavior, the call will be disconnected. But if you enable core retention, simply the call will continue peer-to-peer between the media converter and the IP phones. That's something you have to enable in your media converter. It's not set by default, it's the important point, and it's only working in the SIP mode. Only working in the SIP mode. MVCOT is not supported for this feature. I think UGFT is supported.
Sorry?
Yeah.
A question. Why it's not enabled by default?
You have to enable it. It was not there in the initial days. And for an SCG band, still, and for even most of the American customers, they would like to disconnect the call. Yes.
In order to know? Okay.
I don't like how it's set up. This is how it is set up. That's why we highlighted the training in order to enable core retention. Just in AMGIL, check the call hold box. That means I will hold the call directly peer-to-peer and enable the core retention via set call hold and set value config all enable. And that's it. For more details, you can go for data programming manual for ISDN. This is a command that we discussed in the morning, a CVT that you really need to monitor your ISDN. Let's say that you have a problem in ISDN and you'd like to investigate what is the problem in this ISDN. First step, double check your firmware. Maybe you are trying to enable a feature which is supported, not supported in your current version. So double check the version, if this version can be format. A tool called ISMC trace is really wonderful to know the details about ISDN. Basically, again, this is the same screen that I displayed yesterday, talking about communication between BBXA and BBXB, and call setup, call procedure, arrange, connect the path, continue. Mainly, we are really focusing on these three parts, because the setup message you would know if the call will pass or not pass. It's allowed or not allowed. Here's the ISDN trace tool, which is ISMC. You have to enable index 91 in the SYD and make it 00, otherwise the ISMC trace will not go. Some customer or some partner, they disable the ability of system that they're bringing about, because they don't want to headache with the customer every time they have a loop, every time they have a problem. They don't want to simply alarm this, so it's just disable the alarm that comes from the system. So just enable everything. And here, select the first trunk in your ISDN network, in your D channel, and select all the time the details, not the messages, because sometimes I ask over the IT portal, I would like to have ISMC trace. I have to write again in brackets, I would like to see the details message. So they will make 3 traces before they send me the details one. Have a look here. This is the setup message. It's identical to the standard of ITSI. Normally, this kind of messages are standard. I mean, you'll find this kind of fixed format. That means every time you find a 0802100, that means you have a protocol identifier as ISDN, and you are only dealing with ISDN. So all the time the call identifier will start with 08, that means we are working with ISDN. 02 is a call reference link. How my packets? It's just a 10 to 00. That means I have a call with length, call details with length, 10 digits. 05, 04, 03, 09, 90. By the way, there is a, if you go for the ITU standard, you could find this book which explains all of this. You remember, Mehdi? Yes. The ITSI book. How long we spent there? So I just make here a kind of a quick summary, which could save your time. Even if you open the ITSI book, you could find your way up to this point. Which kind of presentation I'm using, what is my calling party identification element, and what could be my number. It's the exact details. And here, see, this is my calling party number. If you notice here, the trace 0802009. It will give you all the details. I don't want you to drill down everything, but at least you could read if I'm sending a call already or not. Just very quick. I don't expect you to do this drilling. I can do it by myself. I can do it for you via the IT portal. Sometimes you are on the customer side and you really would like to finish this story. So if you have this ABCs, you can drill down the complete ISDN list.
The book for these messages is
in the ITSI book. This information I just copy paste from the ITSI book. It's ISDN standard book. You can find it in any ITU sites. Right? I just sent it to Mehdi without any guidance, and he tried by himself. And then he called me, yeah, I get lost. But here, if you Mehdi now start read again the ITSI book, with this information it will be much more easy. But at least, whatever kind of problem you have with any ISDN system, you could solve it from this. You really could solve it from this. And even, you can identify exactly what is the cause of the call failure. Because the cause of the failure is written down here, inside the setup message, or inside the ISMC trace. That's why sometimes I ask you this in me ISMC page, mentioning that who call who. Maybe you have multiple ISDN calling the same, going in the same D channel. At least I can identify this calling number. This is his calling number. So I complete trace for this single. There's also how to decode the calling number, and there's more details if my number representation is allowed from the carrier. This is also important to know if the carrier presentation restriction or allowed. Is it a screen number? Is it not a screen number? This will save a lot of time. Really save a lot of time to understand is this kind of presentation allowed or not allowed.
And besides that, we also need Wireshark.
For ISDN? For ISDN?
No, for the SEP.
This is only for ISDN.
For ISDN.
Once we reach for the SIP, we'll talk about it. But basically I'm talking here about ISDN. Because normally, ISDN is digital network. How you will drill down. You cannot put something in between, in the middle, like a COT, to sense the dial tone. It's a really decoded message. And here, you have the basic tool how to decode these messages. Whatever the network problem, or whatever the problem size with ISDN, you can easily drill it down. Regarding your question, we come to it for the SIP, because in concept, in the logic of 95 is seeing this MD SIP as ISDN. I will tell you why. Once we reach to the MD SIP. This is also additional information. QSIG is again a kind of ISDN. What we said about here, about even the feature of ISDN, is still valid in the QSIG. But QSIG, much more powerful. You can send a lot of details, you can make code transfer, code forward, channel negotiation, advice of char, and many other. Like you can make also replacement path, that means route optimization. Anyone aware about looking ahead? I will just make an example of looking ahead. We have this triangle. I am caller from system A, and they have this route and this route. Okay? Normally I route my call here. And I would like to reach this system. How many paths I have? One. Two. Three.
Four.
Where's four?
Right, down, and then left.
Left. Like this. Yes. Right? What if I set my first priority to go on this route? And unfortunately this node is down. What will happen to my code? I only see this node, but I don't see this node. So I don't have any looking ahead who's behind this node. So I cannot ask this node if the next hop is available or not. So the code will just simply fail. With looking ahead or the path replacement, I can utilize that the code will do alternative routing somewhere. And the simple thing, setup message of QSIG is identical to normal ISDN. But it has, based on the ISDN capability, much more messages. For example, in a QSIG network, you have to tell me your class of service. You can. And I can treat you based on your class of service. I can treat you based on your extension number. I can treat you based on your name. I can also allow you to make a call back to my system. Think about it. You are a VIA system and you have a different access code for callback. But I can send your access code to your system via QSIG. This kind of user-oriented feature, you only can get it from QSIG. Again, you are using an Alcata system, and you have a nice feature called call mute, and you would like me to use your call mute inside your system. If you send me the right code, I could do it in your system. Maybe you send for me a centralized billing data. You have a kind of packets that you name it as a centralized billing, and you ask me, this is my format. Again, if you allow me, I can process your data, and I can add it to my billing data. Even you say I have a ISDN problem and I want to report this problem for you. You can send me in a specific format and I can read it for you and I will consider this is my alarm, not his alarm. This kind of functionality can be really drilled down up to level with QSIG.
So we can adapt any feature.
No. The QSIG feature,
Let's say through QSIG, we can adapt a feature from the other system
based on the QSIG feature. There's a list of supported feature and QSIG.
and QSIG.
Like this is a table of the supported feature. For example, looking ahead is not supported with ISDN, but supported with QSIG. And there is many other. I just summarize a very quick reference for QSIG networking if you compare it with ISDN networking. And you can imagine, you can bring an open system and the file and then you see and the cattle and whatever system, and they could feel like they are one network. That's why military guy prefer QSIG, and it's also very secure because you can also send your encryption component over ISDN or over QSIG.
Khaled, looking ahead, mechanism is to send, let's say, from the source to the end destination a quick message. You know?
Yes, more or less, yes. It will send the hop of messages. If you remember in IT, we have something called multicasting.
Okay.
It's more or less like multicasting.
Okay.
So it will send the multicasting over all the tunnels.
In order to check and least cost routing and
Not only this course routing, it's really doing a kind of announcement that the royal back is coming from the sky. That you understand what capability can QSIG do.
yes.
Some people said, yeah, it's a legacy protocol. Will someone use it?
All features transference for the feature transparency.
Depend. If it's ISDN feature, most welcome.
Callback is can
Yes, if they can support. I am sure that I'm support. I can make a QSIG between an ACE and Philips system, and I can guarantee for you callback. But I don't know about other things. And it could be possible. I did one time with Siemens. That could be effective.
some system is not supported, right? Callback.
Because I will give you a good example. Alcatel say that they have a looking ahead, but they don't have. They say in their manual, yes, we have a looking ahead.
They have a special protocol, ABC.
They don't have any QSIG, this functionality. I know that they have something like our CCIS, but they said, for example, they have a column busy, but they don't have. They write in their manuals, they could do this,
Yeah.
but they make a test only with Alcatel system. We say it's supported, and it's really supported. Siemens said that name identification can be sent in any format, but they only send it on A and I format. They cannot send it in any other format.
Yeah, name is any, right?
No, A and I. It's an American presentation.
What is in that automatic numbering
Identification.
and reading?
Only, not other format. But with 95 QC, you can do it. If you are going for a network where you have ISDN or a QC network, you can kick anyone out. The only competitor for NEC in this was
Siemens.
only Siemens. Believe me, I did the networking with Nortel, with Alcatel, with Avaya, with Cisco, with Tetra interface, with the radio vision interface. Every time we have to fix ourselves because they don't know how to do it. Because most of the engineers, they don't know these details. I know it's an annoying subject to go drill down into each and every detail, but if you really go to the customer side and you could fix it in this way, you really will be preferred by the customer, especially for the network industry. You understand why the people really prefer to go with the QC? Clear? And it's also stable network if you compare with SIP. And it's closed and secure. We'll talk about SIP later, and also the beauty of SIP, but it's good to understand. If you really understand the QC capability, the part of MGSIP will be very easy. How to program a QSIP, you have a handout for it, and always sit yourself by user side. You can also sit in the console. This was important remark from Mehdi, I just added to the presentation. No need to change in a QSIG network that you are user or network from the command side. You have to change it from the console itself or from the device itself. Don't set it in the command, because this was a limitation in ICS in the old days. If your system acts for one interface as a slave, it cannot act again like a master. But with this topology that we are doing in your car, if it's a BRTC car or MGBRI or UG50, you can keep. You are a network for this guy. You are a master for this guy. You can manipulate it the way that you like. In ARTD, just make sure that 65 is QSIG protocol, and all the time keep 95 region is 0. You have to do additional programming that you have to enable your point code, because this is a QSIG network. Your point code is 1, my point code is 2. So every time I would like to go for this route, I would go for route number 1 or point code number 1. So I must assign my point code for my route. Each and every route has its own point code. That means if I have 10 routes, each and every route is a point to point. That means I connect it over this QSIG network point to point. And if I connect it point to point, I have to identify each and every destination via point code. That's also how to, just to remind you that you can still use ATDI command to upgrade the version. Any question? At least you got the ABC and the capability of ISDN. You understand now what ISDN can do. You understand now what QSIG can do.
One question.
Good.
I have a 2 nodes, that means 3 systems.
Okay.
One is central node. I need to connect that 2 other nodes with the QSIG.
Okay.
That means main system need 2 PRI card.
Yes.
Okay. At 2 PRI, how will give the point codes to?
For this is route number 1.
Yes.
This is route number 2.
Point codes.
This could be you have a number from 1 to x, from 1 to x. You decide. And I'm here to make it easy, because I know sometimes you need a kind of a quick summary how to do QSIG. Because here I consider that I would connect 95 via 95 with a QSIG. This is the system data programming required. This is the ARTDM parameter that you really need to do. And this is the ARTIM parameter that you have to touch. And this is the route. Then you have to ADBC, which is your dummy point code for your route. And here you have to assign your first channel of the highway, which is just your control channel. And after that you have to assign this route with ACIC identification channel number. And this channel number will be attached for each and every channel. I have a channel identification number. Then I have to register my device, assign my number of band and restriction. The interesting part here is after you assign the route, you have to go for ADBC for a point code, assign your signaling channel and assign your CIC number, which is channel identification number. Here is a summary about ISDN services, how to do it. Just study it because you really need to know it later. And here is a summary how to connect MGBRI. It's the same that you could have it in the training, but it's giving you an example with IS 2095. But again, here is a quick summary for you. Normally I was expecting this from you in the basic course, but now I just give it to save your time. You can create a summary for each and every. I will give you a nice example. It's an old story, it's still valid. Here, for example, I have been connected to Norton system. And this was the diagram to connect with the Norton system. This was my card that I used, the lane that I assigned. In the old days I have DB switch, so I have to configure my DB switches. And here's the complete configuration. What I do is in ARTD, in ALRT, in APRK, in the root, ADBC, ADBCN, all the details that I did to summarize how to connect to this Norton system. One time I also connected to Alcatel system. And I think it was Omnibus 6. One time I requested to be connected for old NEC system. You remember this case maybe? Yeah. It's a very old NEC system, IMSA. It's, I think the production line of this system was 1991. 1991, it was a 2015 case. And the customer still happy with the old system and he want to connect. Recently, Mehdi did the same. He connect one ISMC system with DTI interface. It's something like analog or digital ENM. So each and every case that's really annoying me, I just create a summary of connection. I make one time a QC connection with a Cisco, one manager, and with this kind of system. And I have many cases like this. Many, because each and every QSIG link or E1 link in a different, let's say, if you are dealing only with carrier, the story is very easy. Carrier just plug and play because that carrier are sure about the specification that they will give you. But other vendor, Allah. Clear? Let's have a break for 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Any question? Any question?
Any question?
Completely silent. You guys start to get
Shocked.
Yeah. It's also interesting subjects. But maybe what is interesting for me is not interesting for you.
That's okay.
Yeah, the size is very heavy.
Yesterday you found your battery?